Hello everyone, this is Scramble from Emotional Crypto Trading, and here we go with another important video presentation where we're going to do market analysis for Ethereum and discuss around the technical side, as well as run some thoughts around the Chinese ICO ban, about a time that it could be lifted, and some other details mentioned by the Chinese officials, which are very important for us to be aware of. What's going to happen over the next few months is going to affect the market pretty much hard. We're definitely looking after the approval of the ICOs around China, because that's gonna bring in hundreds of billions into space and trillions over the time. So that's very, very important for us to be aware of, as well as a lot of the ICOs will start flying out from there, and a bunch of startups will just get on board with us. Now let's talk about a market cap which is sitting below 600 billion. Whether the market is running on green or red, it's still the same, below 600 billion. Basically, we were approaching a resistance line there, and I'm gonna share with you that. Just let me zoom into the chart. This is something you can do as well. You can see this is an all-time high for the market cap, around 880 billion, 818, 819 billion. Coming down the way, just imagine the resistance line coming down the way just like that, and you can basically imagine yourself nicely a resistance line down the way like that. Boom, just like that, coming down the way. And of course, right now we do have some chances of getting out of it, as it's already existing since sort of a January 7th aggressively. From there we're coming down the way, and that's more than 3 weeks, basically just slightly around 3 weeks. It's not actually more, but it's around 3 weeks period of time for the downtrending environment, pushing us down the way pretty aggressively, especially around January 15th. What we lost from, what was that? It was around 700 billion, and we were coming down to 425 billion. Imagine that's close to 300 billion in matter of, what was that, like 48 hours, which is a lot. And you can also consider the amount of time we needed to increase to those numbers. Now, it's definitely normal to see these corrections for every single market that grows up very, very fast in a very, very accelerated way. It's definitely normal. It's definitely natural to have these corrections, which are welcome in my opinion. Now, let's jump over the Ethereum's market analysis for the US dollar, right? So Ethereum compared with a US dollar, 2 hour candlesticks for the Bitfinex exchange. First thing that I wanted to mention here is, one, we've got the all-time high here position, $1,427. On the other side, the major correction that happened, and also at the time I'm sharing it here, basically the major correction also shared on the market cap, even here as well, it's happening, represented 84.04%, and it's just was going through 3 days and 20 hours for the Ethereum. So 84.04% in 3 days and 20 hours correction for the price, from 1,427 down to sort of a $765, which is insane. So we did had a bunch of sell off. We already had this basically, and it was very, very, very powerful. Now after that, we started to kind of settle in a downtrending environment, as the market cap does, because the market cap is representing what the entire market represents. It's the total market cap we're talking about, and it's definitely not going in a different direction than our charts are going. If the market cap is going up, then our charts overall are going up as well. If the market cap, like you just were able to see, is going down the way with lower highs, all those things that you see here as tops, they are called lower highs basically, and they're always as a lower level, which is definitely a clear signal we are into a downtrending environment of the market. The same thing happens for the majority of the cryptos, therefore you have a bunch of them at a very, very discounted prices. Now, we did have this 84% correction, which was pretty aggressive in my opinion, happening extremely fast, and there were a lot of the whales, institutions and big players selling out, especially at this time when this breakout happened, right? So we had this breakout over here. At that time, boom, everyone started to sell off, knowing that even the market cap moved very, very fast. And as you can imagine, every single candlestick here represents 2 hours. Just imagine the difference in the prices in 2 hours time frame. We're insane. People were starting to trade based on the emotions, as we got a bunch of new traders in the space. And you know, it's not really difficult for people to jump on board and start trading. You don't have to be very experienced to do that. You don't need any sort of knowledge to do that. Nobody's kind of I mean, you need knowledge to do it, but nobody is having any sort of a test to be accepted to trade, right? So you can imagine there's a lot of people who don't know anything about trading, and they are trading, right? So that's why I'm saying it's necessary, in my opinion, 100% to be able to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you're moving in dark and you have no idea. So that's the first thing that you want to do before you start trading, is you got to learn how to do it. It's like driving. If you don't have a license, if you don't learn how to do it, you're not going to be able to do it. Although some people do it, and you know, that's completely different, right? So all-time high, down the way correction representing 84%. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention here, and it still belongs to us, is the next thing that is represented as resistance, basically point acting towards as powerful sell-off over here, basically, right? That's where everything is started from there, as well as resistance basically acting towards here. But of course the breakout happens and things started to spike forward exactly from there. So 765, a very, very important price point, and I've represented this in my last video presentations. Like when I used to make this around December, kind of late December, I was talking about 765 Ethereum, very, very important price point. We had the breakout out of that, and we were going towards the 1427, right? So the idea with that is right now it acted as previous resistance becoming next support right here. So previous resistance, like you were able to see it, acting as next support, which is definitely good at 0.38 Fibonacci line, which represents basically this one right here. So it's very, very close to us, and it's definitely meaningful because it was the time the entire correction that was pretty aggressive, and it could be called like a crash, it has stopped. That's the time it has stopped. So imagine that huge snowball coming down the way the mountain. There were some big guys over there down the way stopping it and able to push the price up because people were thinking it's extremely bullish and they were taking control of the market. The pressure was of course on the bullish side from there ongoingly up to 1160 to right here when we have an established resistance line as of right now. But let's just get closer to our current price point, which is sitting exactly right here within this circle. And this circle basically could be also called like a failed breakout, right? Because we do have this downtrending resistance line, and you want to look at the first one, right? So this downtrending resistance line that comes down the way, and it has a breakout here, which might consider as a confirmed breakout as long as it do not falls back into the downtrending environment. But for now, we do have to question mark it. Is it a failed breakout or not? How is it that? For now, we don't have too many details around it. We just have an extended downtrending resistance line, which is the second one above the original one, right? Which starts come down the way. It starts, of course, from the all-time high, but it comes down the way and continues like this over here, basically, as you can see it. Is the extended downtrending resistance line, which confirms on the failed breakout of the downtrending traditional or original resistance line, which is the first one coming down the way. So this circle right here and all the representation, all the charts right there could represent a failed breakout as long as we're not gonna get out of the first resistance line representing a lower high, this one right here, and the blue line basically that goes just along the way continuously, right? So That's where we have to break out in order to see something meaningful happening for the Ethereum, and not only for Ethereum, but also for the entire market. It's very crucial for us to see that at this times, the market is kind of moving in the same direction for a majority of the cryptos, whether we're talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, or majority of the alts, right? Including the market cap total value. So definitely we need a breakout even of this extended downtrending resistance line, as well as the resistance line that applies basically from the previous lower high, which is right here. We definitely have lower high over here, another one over here, and that creates a resistance line just like that, which is horizontal. On the other side, we have trending resistance line, right? Exactly what you explained. Now, what else do we say here? We do have this 0.5 Fibonacci confirming on the support line as expected right over here, very, very nicely, as the charts and data represented to us. This was a very, very good entry for people looking to do day trade, because it was extremely at the price the Fibonacci tool recommended to us. Now, something else that we do have to consider is a potential breakout of the horizontal resistance line at $1,100, which is right here going like this. A potential breakout will bring us into the zone where we will face this possible resistance zone, which could appear right here. All right, so within this rectangle, we might have a possible resistance zone. First case scenario is one right here. It happens to have a lower high, which is setting up a horizontal resistance line. Right, so the horizontal resistance line goes just like that. On the other side, we have the 0.78 Fibonacci line, basically the blue line from here, going very, very close and creating a nice price target for the resistance to act between $1,100 and $1,200. We could have a possible resistance after the breakout of the $1,100 resistance line that's represented right over here. So definitely we do have a lot of the bearish power within this section that needs to be considered. That's why a breakout is just not going to happen very easily for us, but it might happen with little steps advancing forward just like that. That's the only way to recover after a downtrend. And we do also have the possibility to move sideways in a very, very big area with support and resistance at quite big differences in their prices, right? So the lines could be not very close to each other, considering the ups and downs in a sideways moving charts. Now, that's the way it looks right now, and this is what we're having. I hope it's not too complicated. I hope it makes sense what I'm trying to talk with you here. The place that we're about to approach represents a lot of selling pressure. But if we do see parabolic movements, and if we do see the entire space is going out of the downtrend, then of course it's possible to make all these breakouts. If not, just by Ethereum alone to represent all of them, it's going to be tough. On the other side, if we do not confirm on the breakouts, we do have to be aware that at 0.5 Fibonacci line, if we're coming down the way once again here, we do have to be aware that the pricing of $900 to $950 could represent nice support for the Ethereum. And if it confirms there exactly like it confirmed previously, you consider to enter basically, because that represents a very nice buy-in. As well, it's confirmed to be beautiful and to be powerful. Right, so once again, hopefully this is making sense and it's not too complicated. It's a little bit more advanced than what I used to do usually for YouTube. Because I know on YouTube, we don't always have experts and we don't always have people having knowledge around the technical analysis. But hopefully for this time, I was able to kind of share with you some important price points. If it's not really making sense what I'm talking here, feel free to ask me questions and try and explain in more details. Or on the other side, you can always rewatch the exactly part of the video where I'm talking in depth all about the details. Now let's just talk about the ICO ban, which is some details I've pointed down here. Chinese official new regulations for 2018 May End ICO Ban. Yang, which is director of the Center of Financial Technology, mentioned in a current interview. Good ICO projects are allowed to develop in a legal and risk-controlled environment rather than simply adopting a one-size-fits-all approach. Now, he also mentioned that the China Security Regulatory Commission may launch a quality crowdfunding pilot program in the near future, which will be an opportunity for ICO to get in compliance. So this is the main idea. We have to get those ICOs back in compliance to be regulated. And of course, we need to do some sort of, I don't want to mean we have to do this, but they would have to do. I'm just meaning we as an industry, we need it to be regulated in a sort of an efficient way for the good ICOs to be sort of have a specific regulation, as well as the wrong or the scam ICOs to be excluded, because this is what the compliance is looking to do. This is what the regulation is looking to do. There needs to be a minimum bar for which every single ICO needs to qualify, and there should be some sort of research and analysis on it by the officials in order to make sure we're not talking about scams. Because unfortunately today, I could definitely say that 6, 7 ICOs out of 10, 6 or 7 are scam, right? So they're not looking to do what they're mentioning in the white paper, on the website, and so on and so on. They're not really looking to do those kind of things in the future. They're just looking to present you a beautiful story and collect funds, right? So the regulatory that's gonna try to be implemented in China will try to exclude these issues, and that's why they will have some sort of aggressive and strict filtering around the ICOs are going to be accepted based on the compliance, right? So this is basically the things which they're working on right now, and this was the announcements we were having. Now on the other side, some other great news of the market: no commission stock trading app Robinhood will let you buy and sell Bitcoin and Ethereum without any added transaction fees starting in February, compared to Coinbase's 1.524% fees in the US. So US people, you will be able to move your assets from Coinbase and use something better, which is not going to charge you any sort of commissions or fees around this, which is Robinhood, right? So you definitely want to study around it, search for it on Google and see more details. This is some sort of useful information for you. And another thing that is kind of proving how the market is heading towards and how fast the implementation happens: the Brisbane airport to introduce Bitcoin payments, which is very, very nice. I can't wait to see that. And probably this year, I'm gonna fly over to Brisbane airport, and between the terminals, I would be able to use cryptocurrency. It's not gonna be only Bitcoin, it's gonna be the major cryptos should be used in the stores and all over the place in the terminals over there. So this is beautiful. Once again, the crypto space is speeding up, especially that we have some sort of news from the Chinese officials around the ICO and the way they're looking to do it. On the other side, that the US market has a new provider for Bitcoin, a new seller for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some other major cryptos, which are not going to include any transaction fees and no commissions, right? So beautiful app, an application that really does its job nicely in the stock market as of right now. Soon they would be able, from February, to implement all the crypto work as well. And you see how the space is going forward in a high speed. Now the prices are not the best for people which are sitting in and they didn't really trade it actively. And they're of course waiting to have a recovery of the market out of this downtrending environment to see some growth, because that would be necessary for all of us in order to gain some more momentum from external investments. Now, that doesn't mean right now it's not a good time to buy in. As I've mentioned, there's a lot of cryptos discounted. So that's just very good to purchase, in my opinion. So that's pretty much all about today's video presentation. Hopefully it's not too long and this is not too technical. This is not too many details. I just want all of these things to give you like a helping stone to make a better decision in the future, because all the things that we were representing will help you do better trading, as well as the informations in some sort of way they should help you as well if you know how to use them. So that's kind of all about. Once again, thank you so much. Feel free to check the links in the description area for a one-on-one coaching program where you can learn from A to Z how to become a professional trader, as well as for collaborations. Or feel free to subscribe. That's something you can definitely do if you enjoy. I'm talking about ICOs, crypto space, doing interviews with CEOs and all these things around the space. So thank you so much and talk to you soon.